Good morning, children. Today we will continue with the video for next part, that is part 2 of the chapter Vedic period. In this part, we will take up comparative study of early and later Vedic society. Social life in early and later Vedic period. Family. The families were patriarchal, where father was the head of the family. The oldest male member of the family was called the Grihapati. All other members of the family had to obey him. He performed all social and religious rites. Condition of women. Women were held in high esteem. No holy functions was performed without their active participation. They received education like other members. Young men and women had the rights to choose their partners. The widows had the choice to remarry. Food and dress. They ate vegetables, fruits, corns, barley, wheat and milk products. They also drank an intoxicating drink called the soma, which was also used as offering in ritual yajnas. The clothes of early Vedic people was simple and made of cotton or wool. Caste system. The society was divided into 4 varnas: Brahmans, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Sudras. But there was no restrictions on going over to another varna or positions. Economic life of early Vedic period. Agriculture was the chief occupation and barley and rice were the main products, but cotton and oil seeds were also produced. Domestic animals included horses, cow, bull, sheep and goat. Cows were held in high esteem. Barter system was practiced and goods were exchanged against each other. The Aryans were also engaged in building chariots, making ornaments, weapons, wearing and making earthen poetries. Religious life of the early Vedic period. The early Vedic people worshipped forces of nature. Indra, Varun and Agni were the chief gods. Yajna or Havan was the major part of their religious duty and performed by the family members themselves. Now let us compare between the Rig Veda and the later Vedic civilization. Now there is a comparative study of early and later Vedic society. The main source of information regarding social, economic, religious and political life of the early Vedic society is obtained from the oldest Veda, that is the Rig Veda, while for the later Vedic society the sources are quite vast and include all Vedas, the Vedic literature except the Rig Veda. The points of comparison of the early and later Vedic periods are as follows. Points of comparison. Vedic literature. Early Vedic period, Rig Veda. Later Vedic period, Samaveda, Yajurveda and Atharva Veda. Also Brahmanas, Upanishad, Aryankas, epics, Puranas. Society. Early Vedic period. Family. The basic unit of the society was patriarchal in nature and there was a prevalence of joint family. Women. They had equal status as men. They could participate in assemblies. Widow remarriage was allowed and they could receive education. Later Vedic period, family become more patriarchal on nature and status of the father increased. Women, the position of women declined. They were considered as the source of misery and were not allowed to participate in assemblies or yajnas. Widow remarriage was looked down upon. Fewer women were educated. Early Vedic period, caste system. It was not rigid. The fourfold divisions was made primarily on the basis of occupation. Later Vedic period, it became more rigid. Both became the basic of one caste and each class had a distinct role. Early Vedic period, food items included barley, milk, vegetable, fruit, rice and also meat. Later Vedic period, food items, consumption of meat was reduced. Economy, early Vedic period, agriculture was done with the help of bulls and oxen. Domestication of animals was also done. Later Vedic period, agriculture became an important source of economy and large tracts of forest were cleared for it. Trade. Barter system prevailed and was carried out in terms of bullocks and horses. Many peoples were engaged in commerce and trade. Later Vedic period, trade continued both in barter system and through currency. Silver coins were in usage. Foreign trade became extensive. Early Vedic period, other economic activities like hunting, carpentry, tanning, poetry, weaving, chariot making, fishery, embroidery, dyeing, weaving, etc. were known. And in later Vedic period, metalworks, leather, jewelry making, carpentry and poetry made great progress. Early Vedic period, worship. They worshipped natural forces as male gods such as Agni, Indra, Pushan and Surya. Female goddesses like Aditi and Usha were also worshipped. In later Vedic period, Indra and Agni lost their importance. Vishnu and Rudra became prominent. In early Vedic period, chief mode of worship, chanting of prayers and animal sacrifices were common. And in later Vedic period, animal sacrifices increased during this period. Priesthood became prominent. Okay children, so this was the remaining part of the chapter on Vedic period. Hope you will also go through this chapter from your textbook and solve the question answers in your history copy. Have a good day.